Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, I think I've caught every champion. Hopefully I have. Let me know if I've missed one. But what I have here above me is all the champions that Plarium has buffed since they started buffing champions again. They took like about a year's break, about a year or two ago. They've been back buffing one or two champions a month. Lots of mythicals in here actually. And what I want to do is break it down on a tier list. How good have the buffs been? Have they captured the right champion fantasy? This is not really about how powerful the champion is, because I think you could have a really good buff for kind of a mid-tier champion. I actually think that's fine. It's more, have they caught the idea of the champion fantasy? Have they built on that identity? And I'll mention, of course, along the way, how good the champion is, because you prefer if they were usable and good. But it doesn't necessarily need to be. It'll make sense as we go. I've got these categories. Peak are the best of the best buffs that really are great, in my opinion. Fair enough. It's like, okay, they got a buff. It will do. It will do. It's a step in the right direction, and it was solid enough. It's okay. Needs more is like, okay, like it will do, but I'm not too excited, or there's a couple of big flaws, or maybe a single big flaw in it. And then lots more is, guys, I really think this was actually terrible buff, if even a buff, and they need actually a significant second look, or perhaps third, or perhaps fourth look in some cases. Oy, oy, oy. What can we say about that? Anyway, let's dive in. Let's rate it. Like I said, let me know if I've missed any champions here. This is obviously going to be very subjective and opinionated, so hopefully I won't offend too many people. Let's dive in. First up, Isil. You know what? I think the Isil buff was peak. I've got the game too small. Let me full screen it so we can see a bit better. I think the Isil buff was great. I think it's exactly what it needed to do. He's not the best champ in the game, but he's pretty darn solid. Wrong faction. But yeah, I think he does exactly what he's supposed to do now. He absolutely smacks with his A2. His A1 is A3 are decent. He's got a great passive at lots of turn meter. I think it does the job. People don't really like him, but guess what? I actually think he's pretty solid. I think it was a good buff. Again, he's not absolutely broken, overpowered, but he's very solid, very usable. I'm giving Isil peak. So there we it looks like from the in-game ratings, perhaps I'm starting on a controversial one, but I think it was really good. Ooh, Androc is up next. I actually have him as well. This one is tricky for me. He sort of bounces between the two. I'm going to lean into peak. Now, Androc, he's definitely very powerful, no question about it. I don't love his buff quite as much as Isil. Again, if there was sort of an intermediate tier between the two I've put in, I might pop him in there, but I think it's good, right? He's an insanely strong buffing champion in his base form, and then he's like a decent debuffing champion in his other form. They added lots of damage to these moves, which is, I don't know, do you ever really use it? It's a bit strange. And yeah, I feel like he's a little bit clunky in terms of like the enfeeble doesn't work against any bosses, for instance. So it's a bit of a dead slot, but he's got enemy max HP damage. It's a little bit odd. He's got turn meter pushback, again, doesn't work against many bosses. But I think it's you know what? Let's put him as fair enough. I would say Androc base form, I was actually maybe like, gosh, you maybe even overbuffed his base form a little bit. His other form, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go fair enough. I love the base form stuff. I'm like, wow, that's actually kind of crazy. He's bonkers good. His alternate form, I kind of feel like I actually would have liked more focus on that. Less buffs to his already really good base form and more buffs to the alternate. Angar, I'm going to put Angar in needs more. I think this might be controversial. People might be wanting to put him in lots more. Angar, he's just not amazing, and he's definitely a disappointing Void Legendary. He is very good at provokes, though, right? What I don't love is the 75% chance to provoke for 2 turns versus just provoking for 1. I feel like I don't love that. I don't love it. And then reflect damage is not very useful. Yeah, he's doing some damage. He doesn't really fit. You know what? Actually, screw it. Let's put Angar into he needs lots more. I feel like there's not a strong identity in his kit. He has this whole idea. I provoke loads, right? I provoke for 1 turn, maybe 2, and then I can provoke you over here even more. And then, but he hits more if he provokes, but he doesn't really do much damage. He's got the reflect damage. It's a bit wah. He's counterattacking, and there's that concept of a synergy, but it's not really there. I don't know. I feel like he needs a little bit more. I think he needs a bit more. Like if he had enemy max HP and his A1 or something, I'd be like, okay, that brings it cohesively together a bit more. He's one of the two. I'll say, you know what? He only needs a little bit more. Like I think if you added enemy max HP damage to his A1, job done. I think that would be job done. He wouldn't be insanely good, but yeah, I don't know. I like his provoke identity, but I do think he needs a little bit more, to be honest. But I don't think he's an absolute disaster. Ashnar, peak. This is a recent, same faction actually, recent mythical buff. I think it's brilliant. He's now like got this really cool damage boosting in his base form, and he makes you heal off burns, which is really unique. He's got great buffs and debuffs. His secondary form, this is the bigger problem before. It's great now. Big damage, nice buffs, debuff spreading, ignore defense, provokes, big damage dealer. He looks freaking cool. I think it's actually great with Androc, not Androc, with Ashnar. Again, he's maybe not the best of the best of the best mythicals, but I think it was a perfect buff, honestly. Both his forms really good. They both do cool things. They both feel good to use. It's great. Blind Seer, this for me is possible. I don't know. We'll see as we go. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking it's probably going to be the worst buff in the game. The difference for me, I look at Angar and I say, what is Angar all about? And you go, oh yeah, Angar kind of sucks, but he is all about provoke. He does something. He's a void legend. A void legendary needs to do something to stand out. They're not an epic. They're not a regular legendary. It's a void legendary. They need to do something special. Angar at least has provoke. What does Blind Seer have? This is just such a generic champion. Random revive with a bit of block damage, you know, deals, block debuffs, bit of healing, turn meter pushback, no passive. She is shockingly boring. It's actually a disaster. And this was a fairly recent one as well. And it's like, gosh, you are a void legendary, you know, you're up against champions like Arbiter, amazing turn meter boosting identity. You're up against champions like Marishka. Like, come on, man. You are so boring. It's actually shocking. Like, if this was an epic champion, you'd be like, oh, it's a good epic. Boring as hell, but it's good. Void Legendary is terrible. Diamant Copper Coin. This was a recent one as well. I've actually forgotten what they changed with him. I think he's pretty all right now, though. Like, intercepts on an ally. So, increase resist, strengthen. AoE attack, turn meter boost, increase ally buffs, healing on his A1 a bit. He's got a fun passive. I think this one's okay. I think for me, this is fair enough. I'm not like, wow, holy crap, he's super crazy interesting. But I think it's fair enough. Like, you know, he's not amazing, but he has enough unique things going on in his kit. Like, you know, intercept's kind of rare. Kind of interesting mix of stuff. His passive is really fun, where you can convert these debuffs into positive buffs 50-50 whenever it's placed on an ally. Used to only be on himself. Now it's on anyone on his team. He could just be turning debuffs into buffs when they're placed. Kind of cool. I think it's fair enough. Like, yeah, maybe you would have liked a bit more because he's such a cool looking character, but it's fair enough. At Clydna, I think this is going to be fair enough for me as well. Again, she's not an amazing Void Legendary even still. I think she does the job now, where giving you some nice defensive buffs, nice debuffs and some healing. She's got the sleep A1, which is interesting. She's got the cool passive for blocking damage. She's like, I'm not a reviver, but I'm bringing lots of utility. And that's actually a somewhat unusual supportive position to have. I think the revivers often jump to the forefront quite a bit. I think she's okay. And she's, you know, she has a bit of a not Iron Twins. I feel like she was originally sort of concepted to be for the Sand Devil, right? With block the first hit of damage and a sleep on her A1, revive on death. But she's just kind of weird, and she restores destroyed max HP. But I don't think she really fits that well there. So yeah, I think it's like, okay, is a decent buff. She's a decent champion. She's maybe borderline on needs more to give her more of that Sand Devil identity. But yeah, she's okay. Elagaius, been buffed multiple times. I'm going to say Elagaius actually probably hits the fair enough. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with Elagaius at this point. Not a particularly good champion, but I do think now locking out all enemies of the same affinity and giving them block buffs, That's interesting enough. And then we've got the turn meter pushback with buff removal. Okay. They're like, and good and decent A1, decent enough passive. Like they're just sort of a mid-tier champion. Not bad for earlier game arena, mid game arena, not late game, but I think they're fair enough. I think they do the job. I think it's okay. You know, I think actually it's quite a unique ability, that A2, putting all affinity champs on the same on cooldown is pretty cool. So that's all right. Fjorad, this buff is current, so I'm not going to talk about that one yet because I haven't tested it. That's too recent. I'll talk about it at the end, I suppose, Fjorad and Togron, where I think they will fall, but I'm not sure. Without seeing his damage, it's really hard to say. Fortus, buff multiple times, Fortus, multiple times. Honestly, I'm going to put him bang into the lots more. Like, for a champion who has been buffed multiple times, I'm like, it's kind of embarrassing, actually. Like, they've buffed him so many times, and he still doesn't have that good identity. Like, okay, AoE True Fear for one turn, and then you can... the secret skill is a cool idea. You can unlock it. That's kind of cool, but then you've got this weird, always critical condition, but you kind of build him with the critical rate anyway. I don't know. He's rather strange, I think. I do think he's a fun champion, but I feel like for the amount of times it's been reworked, it's not right. One of the things that really bothers me is it says it increases the damage of the skill by 10% every time you place a debuff, and that doesn't happen. It used to be what happened when he first released. It did that. It increased it by 10% every time. The base damage was terrible, but it did scale up like crazy, and that was cool. Then they reworked them. They kept the same text, but they changed how it worked. It doesn't do this at all anymore. It adds a tiny bit of scaling, but not much. They up the base damage a lot, and that's cool. But now the scaling doesn't work. I don't know. Am I being too harsh here? He's not... He maybe falls into just the needs more. Like, he has a bit of an interesting identity, secret skill, unlock with the true fear. I think that is unique and interesting. I just don't... I feel like his kit needs a few more tweaks. It needs more, man. He needs like a 5th buff. Aye. But yeah, Fortus. That's how I feel. Gallas peak. Yep. You know me. I love. I have a giant cock. Where is he? Here he is. I have him. I love him. Yeah, love my giant cock. He's great. He is so cool now. This is a great buff. They made both of his forms just much more threatening. His alternate form, he looks super freaking cool, and now he actually matches it. He's like just a cannon blasting out moves. He's got this ignore block damage thing, and it's just an AoE machine, immune to crowd control. Yeah, he just feels like this just absolute destruction beast, which is super cool. And then he's, you know, a bit more, he's still got pretty good damage now in his base form as well. His damage is actually quite respectable. And yeah, he's got like nice buffs and nice debuffs. Cool passive as well. It's like, okay, it's that, I think they capture this concept really well, where he still is like kind of badass damage dealer, but he's more controlled. He's more about the utility, his buffs and his debuffs, and kind of some of those synergies, being a bit smart, a bit strategic and tactical. And then he goes just full beast mode. It's like, okay, kind of the tactics are out the window. I'm just blasting fools. I think that's great. I think it's peak. One of the best, if not the best buff they've ever done. Really, really strong. Gamoran. I think Gamoran falls into good enough for me. Fair enough. Yeah, he was a relatively recent buff as well. He's got a really solid A1, 50% chance of block active skills. He's got the full buff steal, which is cool, and then buff spread from him. But like, that's sick. It's a great move. He's got like the interesting revive when allies are dying, which is kind of sweet as well. Yeah, I think Gamoran's actually pretty good. Arguably, this could be peak. I don't know. It's because he's not like insanely powerful. I'm not putting him into peak. I mean, he arguably could be peak. It's kind of sick. I steal all your buffs and then I put them on all of my team. That's kind of cool. And I'm block active skills in. I can block revive on dead people and heal my team, revive people. You know what? Gamoran, I'm putting him in peak. I'm doing it. He's not... He's noticeably weaker and less useful, I would say, than these other champions. But I think that's fair enough, right? He's a regular legendary. This is a void legendary. These are 2 mythicals. They should be better than him, and they are. But I think, you know, in terms of his concept, I actually think they did a great job with this buff. I think it fits the visuals, which are super creepy. Yeah, it captures that sort of weird necromantic priest vibe. That's just a bit weird. I actually love it. There we go. Grade 2 Floriaka. I think this one's fair enough. Again, I think this is she's one of the most forgotten about fusions of all time. I think it's one of the more forgotten about buffs of all time as well. But I think she's in a solid spot. Block debuffs, increase accuracy, turn meter boost, AoE, give her lots of turn meter, some nice debuffs, turn meter boosting, just ripping through the turn meter, throwing out buffs and debuffs. She's fine. I think it's actually is good. Not exceptional, but it's good. I don't know. I guess one thing, like how, I don't know. Just when I think of speed, I don't really think of a cow. You know, if she was a cheetah, be like, all right. I don't know. Maybe there are some like cows or I don't know, some sort that are really fast. I guess I wouldn't want to be chased by a bull, but she's female, so I don't know. She has big old horns, though. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I guess you wouldn't want to be chased by a cow through a field. That would probably be kind of scary, but I don't feel like they're that fast. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never been chased by a cow, but they don't scream speed to me, okay? They're kind of just stand there eating grass and making milk. You know what I mean? I don't know. Gurgo the Augur, I'm going to put him in peak. I think this is a really nice buff to a Void Legendary. It's sick, right? That got that speed aura, but now he's removing all buffs and freezing, extra turn, extra effects when enemies are frozen. He can freeze enemies with his passive. He does more damage to frozen enemies. Pretty simple, really. It's I want to freeze people, and I do more damage when they're frozen. Lots more damage when they're frozen. I've got a few ways to freeze. Simple, effective, fits the concept. I think he's a great Void Legendary. Hackhorn Smash Lord, for me, he's quite useful. I think he's great for Faction Wars, for instance. I think he needs more. I don't love this rework, personally. Love his A2. A2 is great. What I don't love is his A3. AoE attack, shield buff that's equal to the damage dealt. That's really awkward. So what, I want to building him in what? Merciless? Like, I'm building my healer who's healing based off his max HP. I need to build him with, I don't know, I want him to be pretty fast and stuff, but you got to build him with Merciless. He's got to hit really hard for a big shield. Don't love it. I actually preferred his old version where he sacrificed his own health and gave you a shield based off of that. I actually thought that was kind of cool. It was more unique. This one is a bit bland. I not a big fan of that. And he needs accuracy to stun as well. So now it's like, right, probably want resistance so he can actually not get debuffed and remove debuffs. I want good speed, loads of HP. I guess now I need crit rate, crit damage, and ignore defense. And now I need accuracy. I don't know. It's just, I don't think it really fits, to be honest. So yeah, I think he needs more. Yeah, I think he needs more. It's just a bit clunky. Hull's Ring is up next. I've kind of forgotten what they did with him as well. I think this one was decent, actually pretty good. So you've got the multi-hits with Hex and decreased speed. He can steal turn meter, give himself Perfect Veil. If they're under Hex, he hits them harder. If they're under decreased speed, he hits them even harder. His A1 self-buffs him. Okay. He attacks targets under Hex and decreased speed. He gets Perfect Veil. He's pretty simple. He's not an amazing champion, but I actually think it's a pretty good rework, actually. Maybe, does it go into, maybe just fair enough? Just, I mean, kind of just a Fire Knight champion, but he doesn't have freeze, so he kind of struggles to hit Fire Knight hard. But it's like, okay, I have lots of attacks. I place these debuffs. I hit really hard. So if he's under Veil, he can decrease turn meter. So Fire Knight normal, he can Veil himself. I don't know. You know, I quite like it. This one to me is sort of borderline between it's actually really good and it's fair enough. I guess he just doesn't really have a place in the game right now. He's okay for Hydra, I suppose. You know, spread the hexes and decrease speed. Big single target damage. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fair. I'll leave him there for now. We'll move him up to peak at the end, perhaps. I'll come back to him. Jingwon, though, peak. I love this. Maybe it was his second buff for Jingwon. I think they did a great job with him. He's very scary now. So he's got the whole passive where he's immune to crowd control and he will free his allies. If you fought him in Faction Wars hard, he's a nightmare. But then he has the AoE block active skills and block buffs. Super scary and increases debuffs. He's got buff removal with decreased accuracy, crit damage, strengthen, transferring debuffs. He's got so much in his kit now. He's really cool. Like I've seen him crop up in some, you know, you could see him in some arena teams from time to time, perhaps. Seen him crop up in event dungeon teams. He's really tricky to fight against. I actually think it's a great rework. Definitely makes him a very scary enemy to fight in content for sure, but yeah, it's good. King Garog from the Orcs is up next. I think this was a good buff. I don't think it was peak. I think it was good. King Garog. You know, he hits really hard. And decrease the cooldown of his skills. He hits hard, he does good damage. Yeah. He punishes enemies who revive. It's kind of cool. I think for like such a visually badass character and being like, I've never read his lore. Is he like King of the Orcs? Assume that, okay, you would assume that he is, but no. He'd been as far, okay, he's not really a king. All right, it's ironic. Fair enough. Okay, well then I guess it fits. He's a King Garog, but he's not really the king. He's just all right. I guess the lore fits him pretty well. Sort of bang on there. But yeah, I think it was a good buff. You know, he does good damage, but like he's not too exciting. But he's okay. I think he's good enough. It's fair enough. So I think that's fine. Coronar. This probably goes fair enough for me as well. Probably most of them are gonna fall in. You would think fair enough would be where most of these would land, and you'd hope for lots of peak ones. Coronar, so he's coming in now, decreased attack and decreased defense, more consistent. He's got like the provoke. He becomes really strong with Maniah, which is cool. Yeah, I think this is okay. Again, the thing that holds it back for me, I said this before, I feel like Spectacle, this passive, wow, Spectacle? This passive is going to do something incredible. Increased defense on all allies if he kills an enemy. Yeah, he's doing increased defense on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown if Maniah's there anyway. Not really spectacular, is it? I don't know. I just think, you know, Spectacle for me in Raid Shadow Legends is not team increased defense. Like, I don't know, whatever. You have epics that do that. Fine, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah. Spectacle could be increase enemy skill cooldowns or something. That's spectacular. That's cool. But yeah, but no, I think it's fair enough. I think it was a good buff. I think he's in the right place. He definitely relies on Maniah, but he's a cool champ. I think it's fine. So I'd say Coronar is fair enough. Constantine the Dayborn, not as in love with this. So I'm going to say he needs more, actually. They were fine changes, but I just don't think he's super exciting. So he's got a lot of stuff to combine with Vlad. I just feel like that's a bit more of a clunky synergy. I think Maniah and Coronar go together pretty well. Coronar is helping you stay alive. I guess there's a little bit of clunkiness with that, where Maniah is bringing block debuffs and so is Coronar. That's a bit clunky for a synergy, that they're bringing the same thing. But it's not the worst. He's got this whole, like, monster hunter thing going, you know? He blocks... It's just a cool passive where he blocks revive on enemies from Undead Demon Spawn Knights Revenant. He blocks revive everyone if Vlad is there. I mean, okay, I guess. I do like this first part of the passive. It's cool. It's unique. He's got a lot of stuff with Vlad. I mean, I do enjoy that they made him ignore more defense if they've got Vlad's debuffs. I guess it's just been a bit of a problem that those debuffs are kind of rare. So it's been difficult to actually use this. I don't know. I think it's okay, but I think he needs a bit more. I like the core idea of this block revive passive. Yo, I'm the monster hunter. I hit hard. I will block revive. I don't know. I just feel like he's a bit bland. Apart from that, as a Void Legendary, I don't think he really lives up to it. So yeah, Lil Miss Annie though, I did like this buff a lot. I think this is actually pretty great. So she's got the fun stuff when she revives. Got the short cooldown where she self buffs and hits really hard. She still has this massive nuke. Her A1, triple hits and actually good debuffs now. I guess like one slight thing is, you know, you kind of want to build her with accuracy. She's got so much going on. But like this fun stuff where she's revived and she'll smack them back and get stronger. And I love the short cooldowns, and the big single target damage focus is actually really cool. I guess one thing that's a bit weird is like this whole... The magical heart passive's a bit wonky and relying on placing the debuffs for a champion that's going to struggle to place the debuffs a bit. But I do like her design a lot. I might even put her up into peak. She's not crazy powerful, but I do like what they've done with her. Again, she'd be a very good anti-Fire Knight normal champion with the multi-hits, the decreased defense, heal reduction, turn meter pushback. I mean, she fits very well against normal Fire Knight, but that doesn't... Yeah, it's just those sort of champions don't fit the end game meta much anymore. I think yeah, I think she could be more powerful. I guess she's maybe we might come back to her. Her and Halsring could maybe make it up into peak. I like it. I don't know. I'm gonna leave her in peak right now. We'll see. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. Lady of Ireth. Let's go. Let's go quickly through it. Let's not spend too much time humming and hawing about it. Lady of Ireth. So now she's got like the decrease ally skill cooldowns, which is really powerful. Lots of healing. Cool. I think it's good enough. I don't think this is peak. I think she's quite a boring champion, but I do think that adding the cooldown reduction is enough to make her relevant and give her a good spot in teams. But she's not like particularly exciting or anything apart from that, in my opinion. I think she's just fine. Maniah, I think, probably needs a bit more. Not a terrible buff by any means, but I think she needs a bit more. I do think they probably did Maniah Coronar a disservice by reworking them separately. I think if they'd reworked them together, it would have been better. Because again, now you've got both champions bring block debuffs, which is a bit clunky. I do like this move though. Big heal, gives them a big shield. Got the heal reduction. She's okay. She's just a bit bland, and like her dying when Coronar is there is a bit weird. Like she's nothing to really synergize particularly well with this. It's just sort of there. So yeah, I think it's okay. I think she needs a bit more though. I'd actually like to see her buffed a bit in the future to synergize her a bit more directly with Coronar, and then I think they'd be actually a very solid couple. Mezamel, I'm going to say needs more. Mezamel is one of the mythical buffs. She's definitely one of the weaker mythicals. She's got a place in the game. Like I think it's okay. Look, she hits really hard with block revive, and she ignores a bunch of like stone skin and a bunch of other buffs. Cool. So she buffs herself up. She blocks revive. Sort of like her soul shtick, though. It's sort of the only thing she does, which is a bit disappointing. They buffed her other form a little bit. I think it's a little bit boring. Yeah, like again, this passive, 20% more attack and crit damage. It's okay, but it's not really exciting. I think it was fine, but I think she could do with a bit more. Like she's not that crazy powerful. I think Mezamel could do with a little bit more love, honestly. Yeah, I think she could. Like I think a more exciting passive or form too could be kind of nice, to be honest. There we go. Frolni, I'll also say needs more. The Frolni buff, I think, was fine for his base form. Like I've said, I think Frolni's base form is pretty solid now. Big single target damage, which can start stacking up his passive, and then he can start nuking people with this. I think he's fine. His alternate form, I don't love. It just feels a bit basic. It feels a bit meh. Doesn't synergize that well with this other thing. I think Frolni definitely needs a bit more. I was surprised when they buffed him that they did so little for his alternate form. I wasn't initially impressed by his base form changes. I think now that it's fine. He's not the best, but he's good. And I think his base form is fine. I'd love to see something extra for his alternate form, though. So for me, he needs more. Mountain King, he's probably fair enough. Not crazy powerful champ, but he's all right. He's got the whole... where he has the extra turn, big ignore defense nuke, extra turn if he kills somebody. If he kills someone with this, he reduced the cooldown of his extra turn. It's pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, he's got the fun passive. He's got crazy base stats. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think they did what they needed to do. It wasn't like, wow, holy shit, this is insane. You've really captured a Mountain King fantasy. But it's like, it's good. It's a good buff. Whereas I think these are more better for me. Noble, I think, also was solid enough. A champion, I think a lot of people think is terrible, but is a bit better than that, actually. He is okay. Actually, I do have him now. Where is he? I'm blind. Am I? Yeah, I'm totally blind. I'm in the right faction. He's right there. The last place I looked. And I looked multiple times across all the other places because I'm an idiot. I think he does a good job, actually. So, look. Whenever turn meter is reduced, he can place fear. Okay, great. He can reduce. He can, in fact, steal turn meter here. Great stuff. Cool. If targets are under fear, he self-buffs himself. Great. I think he's okay. And he combos well. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, and I think it does fit the design, this whole like turn meter reduction, doing damage, synergizing with fear. I actually think it's pretty solid. And I'll be honest, I think people might say Noble absolutely sucks, but I think his buff has been fine. Not the best champion, but he's got a unique thing. He might even make it into peak for me, which is a bit crazy. Let me see. Let me have another quick look at Noble. So, AoE, steal turn meter. If you kill someone under fear, decrease the cooldown of his A2, which is a 2-turn cooldown, single target nuke. Buffs if they're under fear. After attacking, if they're under fear, it reduces his A3 and fills his turn meter. His A1, decreasing random buffs is a bit weird. If they're under fear, decrease all their buffs. Okay. I mean, that's a bit weird. I like his passive, though, a lot. When enemies are reduced by... turn meters reduced by anyone, he can fear them, which then enables this. You know what? Screw it. You know what? I actually think that's a great buff. I think it fits his kit really well. Is he, like... He's not the best champion in the game. Doesn't need to be. I actually think he's got a cool kit with a cool concept. Like, I'm doing great damage, and I've got cool effects. I've got my self-enabling here, which is neat. And yeah, bring in somebody else that's reducing turn meter, and I'm going to start going crazy. I actually think he's really good. Sorry, but yeah. Norog, I think's fair enough. Let's move on to something a bit more, just, it's all right. Norog, I think it's okay. Absolutely, I'm in the wrong faction. Absolutely awful champion before. Now, he's decent. He's nothing too special, but look, AoE decreased defense block buffs on a 3-turn. Great, cool. Block active skills here. Very good chance of it. That's cool. And yeah, he's immune to stuff. He's immune to everything now. They updated that. Reducing people. I think it's good. You know, whatever. He's still a pretty bland champion, but they updated him to sort of where he should be as a pretty mid-tier champion. There's nothing exciting about it, but it wasn't an awful buff. It's okay. It's okay. Queen Eva, I think she's probably okay as well. Yeah, so she's a dark elf, so she's got a very good block revive. Double hit, ignores 50% defense, extra chance to crit, block revive. Simple enough. AoE, again, they added the extra chance to crit to everything, which was nice. She's got like a few random effects in her kit. I think she's a little bit messy. I don't know. Honestly, you know what? Honestly, I'm going to say Eva needs more. I'm going to go that far, which you might be saying, nope, what? You're crazy? She's definitely kind of more useful than some of the others, but I think at the end of the day, she is still sort of a glorified block revive. And then it's like, okay, you got some turn meter pushback. All right. You can reset everything if you kill a target. That's cool with this. Got sort of the random heal reduction block buffs. It's a bit weird. I don't know. I feel like for such a cool looking character, and for being like the queen of the elves, I feel like she needs more. I feel like she's quite, I don't know. I just feel like if I was a new player and I'm looking through the factions, I'm like, oh shit, this is the queen of the elves. She was a high elf. She became evil. She's the queen of the elves. This is her kit. Not it. Not it. I don't know. So for me, I'm going to say she needs more. Look, I think she's got a really good A2, but I don't know. People might disagree with this. I think people might want to put her higher, but I think personally she needs more. For me, Raglin, I actually really like. I'm going to say Raglin's redesign was peak. I think Raglin was a bit bland. She had the 2-turn cooldown single target revive, which was cool, but that definitely set her apart in the past. It was a unique thing about her as a Void. 2-turn revive, single target, 100% turn meter, kind of cool. So she still has that, but now she fully resets their skills. She herself is immune to block active skills and cooldown increasing effects. That's really fun. They made her heal a lot better and give her some nice buffs in there, which is cool. And yeah, the increased attack now makes the attack scaling on her heal, which is weird, actually make a bit more sense. So yeah, I think this is a really good redesign. They're like, okay, let's take this short single target revive and let's give that more of an identity by reducing their skill cooldown. So it's a really impactful short cooldown revive. She's got a cool, unique thing where she's good against champions trying to increase your skills, like Yumiko's and Fabian's. She can just resist that, and she can resist block out. She just can't be affected by it or block active skills, and that's cool. And she's got some fun stuff. Yeah, I think it's actually, honestly, they did a really, really good job at Raglin, I think. They gave her a good identity for the game, and she's actually quite decent now. That's cool. Opradin, I think, is peak as well, actually. I love this. And he's not OP, but he's really solid now. Just great buffs, loads of continuous healing, loads of healing over here, and then some turn meter stuff over here, turn meter stuff here. It's just like, okay, I bring in this guy, I get loads of healing, I get lots of turn meter from the healing, and a bit of like buff removal and block buffs as well. I'm like, yeah, that's just a core kit, super solid. He feels good to use. And yeah, he's a cool character. I think they did a great job at Opradin. I think he fits really well, or Opradin, whatever he's called. Siegfried. We need another tier. Hang on. Add a row below. This, I'm going to call too far. This is going to maybe outrage some people as well. This is the only champion, I think, that they've ever... Which is interesting, actually, that there hasn't been others. I think, at least in this recent batch, he's the only one that they have buffed too much. They went too far. Siegfried, as you guys may remember, you might not, but when he was... there were 5 mythicals that first came to game, like Frolni, Garral. Garral also needs a buff. Frolni still needs a buff. Mezamel, who needs a buff. Siegfried, and Arbase. Arbase, the most balanced of them all. She's a great champ. She's perfectly balanced. Always has been. Arbase, they nailed it. She was the best one. All the other mythicals they first released, kind of bad. Siegfried was arguably the worst of them at the time. He was terrible. Now he is too good, honestly. I just don't like this move, honestly. The surplus damage, I think, is busted. 3-turn cooldown, just delete everybody, and he's got like this whole 100% turn meter boost passive with the block damage. I think they just went too far. I do like the 2 turns block damage, and I like the passive metamorph. I do. I think it's unique. I think it's fun. I know there's a lot of people that are like, why is he the only champ with a passive metamorph? Switch it to an active metamorph. To me, that's saying, make the game more boring. I don't like that. I think there should be more mythicals with passive metamorphs or interesting triggers for metamorph. They could do loads of stuff to do intriguing things. It doesn't need to be a manual toggle. You could absolutely have these interesting conditions. Like, I don't know, maybe you metamorph when you kill a champion. That would be cool. There's lots of cool stuff you can do at metamorph. Don't make metamorph more boring and have it just be an active. More things like this is cool. That's my spiel over. But yeah, no, for me, Siegfried, his A1 is fine. His A2 is fine. His passive is crazy good, but it's probably fine. His alternate form, like, I mean, the AoE revive block that is crazy good. Yeah, he's crazy good. It's this one, Rage of the Nephilim. I hate this move. I think this move is absolutely too overpowered. It's busted. Basically, all the forms of surplus damage in the game are just broken fundamentally. Because effectively what it does, basically, in case you don't know, is surplus damage. It will take, let's say you hit someone for 400,000. So sure, like ridiculous hit. You got 300k extra damage. Obviously, the second attack should be less than the initial attack. But what it does, it takes the 300k, and instead of your typical attack multiplier, it just runs the 300k through it instead. So it ends up usually being that the surplus damage does way more damage than the initial hit. For several champions now, like Trunda, Wukong and stuff like that, they make it so it can't crit or something, which removes all the crit multipliers and it brings it a bit back in line. But still, the surplus damage typically exceeds the initial hit, which again is just silly. How can you do more with surplus damage? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's like I watered my plants with my watering can, and when I was done watering them, I watered them again with a surplus. The surplus was more. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not what a surplus is. Anyway, that's my rant over. Personally, I think they buffed Siegfried too much. His A3 is too busted. And yeah, it's too busted. And all similar moves to it are too busted as well. Sorry. Sue me, I guess. Supreme, I've actually not put too many and need lots more, actually. That's interesting. Only Blind Seer so far. Supremel, I think this one is actually probably okay. Yeah, so she self-buffs with an extra turn, gives herself a shield. The AoE, before attacking, she freezes. She does damage if they're frozen. I don't know. It's a bit weird. Like, I get, like, freeze sort of fits with the Sacred Order. It's a bit weird for Ethel. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm a bit disappointed by her design in general, because I feel like one of the defining things about baseline Ethel was the triple hit A1. I'm sad she doesn't have that going with the Supreme version, actually. I feel like it's almost the defining thing. But she does have the whole self-buff extra turn, which is okay. She's got some ability to freeze here. I think it's fine. I think she's fine. I don't love it, but I think it was an all right buff. Yeah, it's an all right buff. It's sort of hard to see how they make her a peak design champion with how she's currently designed, to be honest. Arguably, they should have done a bigger rework, but I think they made the champion that she is fine. I think it's fair enough. Calamitus, I actually think Calamitus is really, really good. Yeah, I think that was a great buff. I think it was bang on what they needed to do. Yeah, they've made him just a great damage dealer in his base form. It's cool. He's powerful. And then they made his alternate form way better now, like really solid AoE damage. It was a great change, very impactful. Basically put him to what he should have been when he released. I think that was actually really, really good. Togron, don't know yet. Skullord Vargal, I'm going to put him peak. I love this one, actually. This one, no question, is peak for me. Again, he's not the most... he's the lizard. He's not the most OP champion or anything like that. But what he is very unique, where if you've got one lizard faction ally in your team, he starts doing a bunch of cool stuff. Irresistible over here. Irresistible if there's a lizard. Extra stuff if he's a lizard, not resisted. And then he's got where he starts reviving a lizard, which is cool. I think it's a really, really cool thing. So he used to have a combo, Skull Lord with Skull... whatever one over here, Skull Sworn. They used to combo directly, and that was the whole thing. He'd be reviving Skull Sworns. Now, that obviously is not relevant in the modern game. I think, though, turning him into a pseudo-faction unity champion who just... he's like, yeah, he's like a Lord of the Lizards. Combine him with another lizard, and he does some cool effects. I think his peak. I think it's really unique. There's almost no other champions that do something like that. I think it fits really well. Ulton of the Shell, not a great one. He sort of suffers from lack of a place in the game as well. He's got an AoE stun if he's with Oella. AoE decrease speed and sleep. AoE decrease speed and stun if Oella is there. Get some turn meter boost. You can get... I think it's a bit weird. Like, he fills his turn meter, but then he gets an extra turn if she's there. It's a bit clunky, that. I don't know. He really struggles for a place in the game. What's he even doing? Honestly, they should have just switched his factions into Sylvan. He was in Sylvan on the test server initially. I don't like the whole bug thing and insects. Like, they're big into insects in the Dark Elves. That's sort of their thing, right? They're like insects over there, right? Insects, we love them. We love them. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like he sort of needs to be in the same faction as Oella, or there needs to be some content where they go together. I'm just not a big fan of this one. I think it's okay. He's not as bad, I think, as people think he is, but I'm not in love with it. Tremeria, I think this was fair enough. Same faction. Made her much better. You know, decent aura. I kind of like... Can we not make that 24%? Why is it 23? We've got some, you know, non-voids that are 24. We make it 24. Why is it 23? Bit weird, but yeah, so I don't love that. Anyway, it's not a huge deal, but you know, she's immune to stuff. She gets boosts. She can remove buffs, give you block debuffs now, which is cool. Lots of turn meter, AoE stun, AoE decrease speed. She can fear. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. She's not the most exciting champ. She feels like kind of a filler Void Legendary. So for me, she's only in the fair enough. So sort of like Clydna. Yeah, sort of like Clydna. A bit like Diamant. Supremel as well. I think Coronar, to be fair, Coronar is more unique, but he was already unique enough from his base design. I think that the buff was good, but she feels like a filler, and she's okay. Vitreous, he honestly might need a bit more. Yeah, so Vitreous, he comes in, big damage dealer, sort of anti-lockout. So when you try to, when you do increase the cooldown of his skills, it will reset, one of his cooldowns at random and give him an extra turn. Same thing, you can also trigger extra turns over here. So you can either get a massive single target nuke, or you can get a big AoE nuke. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a bit weird, you know? You just don't love the design. I don't love it. It's like, okay, he's my anti-lockout champion. It's just a bit clunky. I don't know. It's just like they're under stone skin. He doesn't do anything. I don't know. I just don't love it. He has a niche, right? It's you lock me out, I get an extra turn. Great. There's a niche there. It's a unique identity, but I'm not super digging the rest of what he's doing. I think he needs a bit more. He's a bit meh, to be honest. Warchief, I think that one is good enough. Yeah, he's arguably in some ways like better than Angar, I'd say. But yeah, single target, steal your buffs, 3-turn provoke. 75% chance to AoE provoke everyone else and give everyone a shield. It's cool. He can provoke on his A1 and heal people. You know, he heals them with the shield, which is nice. Yeah, I think it's good enough. It's solid. I think it does what it needs to do. Again, I'm not like hyped about it. I don't think it's like a peak redesign that's like, or a peak buff. I'm like, yeah, holy shit, you made a champion really cool. But I think it's you made a champion really good. It's very, very solid. I'd be putting it pretty high up in the fair enough tier if I was ranking the tiers based off of how good the actual champions were. Aphodus is up next. I think he still needs a bit more, actually. It was a nice enough buff. He's still like, his two forms are really no synergy whatsoever, which is weird. I don't like it that much, to be honest. But look, I mean, like, he's got the AoE burns. He hits hard. Yeah, I mean, he's fine. He's all right in base form, just AoE burns, lots of damage, cool. And then he's like a really good crowd control machine in his other form. Like, I really like his form too. I mean, my main issue is just, like, yeah, you've got defense from attack. That's nice. But I don't know, like, where do you want loads of AoE burns, but then you also want AoE crowd control? I don't know. It's just a bit odd to me. It is just a bit odd. I do really like his second form. I think his second form is great. Like, AoE provoke, and then when you're attacked, you've got a chance to stun and place weaken. It's actually really good. And he's got an AoE stun as well. So he's really a stun machine and provoke machine. It's actually quite cool. He's doing lots of healing. Yeah, I think his second form is great, but it's just, there's such a strong dichotomy. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't know. Like, I guess is it cool to have a mythical where their two forms really don't interact at all? I don't know. I don't love it. I feel like they need more to make him transition between the two a bit better. Is my feeling, to be honest. And then we've got Whirlim. I think Whirlim's was fair enough, actually. He's been buffed multiple times. I think this last one was good enough, right? Strengthen, increased defense, AoE freeze, can't be resisted, but it's not 100% chance on a 3-turn, though. Then some nice debuffs. He's got lots of debuffs, lots of buffs. He can freeze in his A1, can't be resisted. All of his stuff can't be resisted, which is cool. I think he's solid enough. I think it's totally fine. Again, I think a new player, you come in, you look at this guy, you're like, whoa, he's like the Lich King, but he's a big old beast. He's going to be so cool. And then it's like, yeah, he's all right. You know, he's fine. I don't think he has the wow factor, but I think it's good enough. And there we go. If I was to guess, Fjorad, I feel like Fjorad might be like fair enough. I'm not sure if he goes to peak. I think he has sort of a bit of counter synergy a little bit between. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe he'll be peak. I don't know. I'm maybe fair enough. I think this guy might be peak. I think they've made him crazy good, actually. So that'd be my guess. Is Fjorad might fall into fair enough, and Togran will probably go into peak. I'm guessing, but there we are. That's what I think about it. So yeah, we've got one champ that I think needs way more buffs. One champ that they went way too far on. Bunch of champions here where I think they need more. They got buffed and they're still too weak. I think that's fair enough with all of them. Or there's just something in their kit that doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't quite click, doesn't quite synergize. It just feels like this is a champion that got buffed and they still don't really make sense. Got the fair enough category. Do I feel good about that? I feel like we could even split it another bit into like actually quite solid. You know what? Let me do that real fast. Let's say good but boring. And just good. How about that? How about if we did that and we can make this, I don't know, purple? Like, if I say they're good but boring, I would definitely be putting her in there. Definitely him. Definitely her. Her. Him, for sure. Maybe even him. And yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, yeah, I think the Androc thing was good. Diamant was good. Clyde now, I'm going to say, you know what? Good, but a bit boring, actually, for her. Elagaius is fine. Loriaka, fine. Yeah, these are all fine. They're all good. They all do something unique. These ones they're a bit boring as champions for sure, even after their buffs. Like, what are they doing that's super special? I don't know. I think especially for the Void Legendaries, you could put them at the top. Especially these ones. Again, it's like they gave them solid buffs. They're solid, they're good, but they're not exciting. And that sucks a bit. So yeah, actually, that to me feels good. So there we go. That's how I'm ranking it. Some of these buffs, do I agree with all these being peak? I think, yes, I do. I think that they were really good. And again, there's some I really, really love. Like, I really love the two mythicals here. They did a great job. Jingwon's fantastic. I stand by Noble. I do. I think that one was really good. Yeah, I think all these buffs were great and make the champions exactly the cool fantasy that they should be. And again, we've got different power levels. Like Gamoran, he's not insane or anything. Nobble's not insane, but they did a great little job on them. I think they're good. These ones are all good, but not as quite as crazy. I think that's fair. These ones they're good but boring. Definitely we need to see more changes on these ones, unfortunately. Blind Seer, the worst of the buffs so far. Unbelievably boring champion. What a failure of a Void Legendary. And then, like I said, one champ I think they went too far and overbuffed. And if I was to guess, I'd say probably he goes into good and probably he goes into peak. I'm guessing. So there we go. We'll go with that. Guys, that's my list. Let me know how totally you disagree with my list. Thank you for watching. It's been a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, let me know all the different ways I'm wrong in the comment section. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.